All right, says I'm live. How's it going, guys? Happy Friday. Let me turn down my speakers here. I'm sorry. Okay, took a had the speakers on. Sorry about that. Anyways, I'm not going to be on for a long time tonight. I've had to work all day. I'm in the middle of a big job. I have to start early in the morning. I had actually decided yesterday I wasn't going to do a stream tonight, but you know what? There's stuff going on right now that we need to address, that we need to talk about and work on, and we don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to keep the stream rather short tonight, but I have quite a bit on my mind as far as, gun control, red flag laws, take the guns first, due process later, now referred to as rapid due process, universal background checks, registries, TAPS Act. Here's the problem. If I sit and name all the stuff right now that they're proposing that's putting our liberty, our Bill of Rights and Constitution in jeopardy, if I were to just simply name all of it, I'd probably be here until it's time for me to get up for work in the morning. And yeah, that's how sad it is, and that's how messed up things are right now. But here's what I think we need to do, guys. I've done some videos the last week just trying to get you guys aware, trying to get you guys to think about what's going on and realize that, yeah, this is actually happening. I'm wearing a baseball cap, guys. There's no tinfoil hat on my head. I'm just a normal, regular, everyday guy, and so are you guys. This is no conspiracy. Literally, right now, many are trying to take our guns outright, all of them. That's pretty much what all the Democrat candidates have said. And then we've got people that supposedly are on our side, and they want to eliminate things like due process. They want to introduce new laws that are going to be pertaining to thought crime, putting people's behaviors and things they say online, studying their social media and having an algorithm run against you where you could be prosecuted or, you're relieved of your gun privileges, as they like to call it, just by fitting a certain algorithm. So this is kind of like Minority Report, like thought crime, like bust the person before they might do something. And this stuff's literally crazy. And here's the problem. We don't have much time, guys, at all. So here's what's going on. President Trump, back months ago, I did videos on this when it first happened. So did a lot of you guys. He basically said, he thought that it would stop gun violence and stop these shootings if we enacted red flag laws. And the first thing he said was, take them quick, take the guns first, then due process. I'm sure you guys all remember that. Well, red flag laws did get introduced, not just by the Democrats. Senator Marco Rubio introduced a red flag law that he's the author of in the United States Senate. Lindsey Graham also introduced a red flag law. The same Lindsey Graham, by the way, who is the committee chairman of the committee that's looking at this bill. So Lindsey Graham has the most power to get this bill to the Senate floor for a vote. He vehemently supports red flag laws. He sponsored the bill. He wrote the bill. He's been for it for a while now. I just saw him on the news the other day saying that, yeah, I'm not after your guns. We can make this work and we'll still have, due process. And then they say, well, a different form of due process. Well, look, guys, there's only one form of due process. And look, I'm not telling you guys, whether you should be a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or a libertarian. That's not what this is about. But if you're a Republican and you thought that Republicans had your rights, had your back on gun rights, due process, the whole Bill of Rights, you need to really look at what they're saying right now. There is no such thing as, due process later or rapid due process. What they're really saying is no due process at all. And it doesn't matter what Lindsey Graham or Donald Trump or Marco Rubio or even Dan Crenshaw, American hero, Navy SEAL, fought for his country, almost died. Wears a patch on his eye. We all thank him for his service, and in some regards, the man's a hero. But even he's out there talking about it. I'll get back to him in a minute. But basically, when we talk about, due process, right? What is due process? Well, it's pretty clear. So Let's look here at the Fifth Amendment. I'm just going to read it real quick. I know you guys know the Fifth Amendment. Unless you went to a public school recently, then you might not, because I heard they're not teaching these things anymore. But this is pretty well defined. These are the laws of the land. These aren't laws that restrict us, we the people. These are amendments that bind the government and tell the government, keep your hands off, get away. These things were given to people naturally by God. These are natural rights. We're just going to affirm them and put them in writing to warn a future government that may become tyrannical, that may start acting a lot more like King George in England that we fought to get away from. If that government ever were to arise, we need to put these things in writing to make sure that nobody can infringe on them. Like in the literal sense, don't tread on me. Don't tread on the American people. That's what the Bill of Rights are. The Bill of Rights don't give us any rights. These rights always existed. And any sane person would believe people have the rights to all of these. To use the new en vogue saying, these Bill of Rights are common sense. They really are. From a practical matter, from a tried and true matter, 240 years, these have been working. They've been working great, protecting not just the greatest of us and the rich, but the least of us. That's what these Bill of Rights are all about. And there may be people nowadays that say this is an antiquated document. We don't need it anymore. But I vehemently disagree. I think nowadays we need the Bill of Rights more than ever. And when these people sit and say, well, we're just going to kind of change this part of it and kind of change that part of it, they're not changing it. Because when something says the right of the people, or it says shall not be infringed, if there's an infringement and you have a little box that secures your rights, if you cross the plane of that by even 1 millimeter, you have now infringed it. So there's no such thing as gun control that doesn't infringe the Second Amendment. There's no such thing as rapid due process or take lawfully owned property first, then due process later. Those cannot coexist with the Bill of Rights, because the Bill of Rights don't say like, oh, well, maybe we should kind of sort of do this, or maybe this is a suggestion. No, these are absolutes. Again, these are common sense. So let's look at the Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, where in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor, that's people that are in the military, in other words, nor shall any person fighting a war, mind you, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Okay? So, grand jury has to be convened, and the grand jury has to find their peer to be guilty, right? That's an element of here. It also says that we are not to be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against ourselves. I'll get back to that in a second. That plays into red flag laws. Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property. Well, guns are property, and I would add lawfully owned property as codified in the Second Amendment. Let's go to the Sixth Amendment. United States Bill of Rights here, guys. This isn't like random stuff I'm reading. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy trial and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation. Listen to that. To be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Red flag laws basically work something like this. Somebody calls and says, this person's dangerous. This person shouldn't have guns. So now you're being accused by somebody. Okay. Well, just because somebody accuses you of something, first the state gets to come in, armed men, with guns, mind you, get to come to your home. Now, look, these police officers, they have little kids at home. They have wives, loved ones. They don't want to die on the job. I don't want them to die on the job either, right? So they go in here, and all they hear is this. There's this crazy person that's mean, they're bad, they're dangerous, and they have a bunch of guns, right? That's what they hear. And then they come to your house. So are they going to be coming to your house in a manner in which Excuse me, sir, but this is the police, and we'd like to come out here and have a logical and reasonable conversation and chit-chat about the Bill of Rights. And by the way, I'm here for your guns. And no, they're not going to do that. And the cops are put in really tough circumstances with these red flag laws. What the cops are normally going to do, and we found this already to have happened. I'm not just guessing, guys. This has already happened, and people have already died, okay? While red flag laws are being executed in Maryland. Look it up. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. No, they come ready to go. Full kit, full SWAT team, body armor, lights, lasers, machine guns, flashbangs, smoke bombs, and they kick in your door. If your dog growls, they shoot your dog. They throw you on the ground. If you're trying to put your hands up, but they think you're reaching for a gun, you could get shot. You could be a complete and utter innocent person, never expecting anybody to break into your house. You might think it's a strong-armed robbery, and you may pull a gun on the cop thinking that it's a bad person. That doesn't mean you want to harm cops, but you don't know who it is. It's 4 a.m. Boom, boom, flash, bang, smoke, guns, everything blazing, right? That's how these people are known to come into houses. Now, this is what red flag laws are. All of this happens before you have a trial by jury, before there's a grand jury indicted, before you get to have a jury of your peers in the local jurisdiction in which you committed the crime, supposedly, until you're, allegedly committed the crime. You don't get that. You don't get the right to an attorney, and if you can't afford one will be appointed to you. Nope. You don't get to face your accuser. In fact, the way most of these state red flag laws have already been written, it's called an ex parte hearing. You don't even get to know. Not only do you not get to know who's accusing you, you don't even get to know that there is such a court case convening against you. This is before a judge. This is not before a jury. Are you guys starting to see the problem with this? Look, I know you guys are seeing a problem with this. I know you guys are. I'm just reiterating this because there's people that are supposed to be on our side, people that many of us may have voted for, right? That you would normally think that are pro-gun and have said a million times on TV that they're pro-gun. You would think they would have thought of all this stuff. And I'm pretty sure they have. But we can't forget this because these politicians, look, they speak more eloquently than I do. They've got bigger and better words than I do. And if you listen to them for about 30 seconds, you'll start to think, well, maybe this is okay. I mean, Lindsey Graham did say he's pro-gun and he's not after our guns. And he does have a esteemed service in the military, which he does. We won't take that away from him. Again, I always thank people for their service, but I don't care how long you've been in the United States Senate. I don't care how fancy your words are. I don't care what your past voting record is or isn't. I like to call a spade, and I just want you guys to really literally look at what they're doing here. This is not due process. A judge, a court, where you can't face your accuser. Not only can you not face your accuser, but you're not even given the courtesy of even knowing the charges that you're up against, right? So they take your guns first. And I think you guys remember this. Literally, Trump said, take them quick. Take the guns first, due process later. You can't take property from somebody. It strictly prohibits. Like the Bill of Rights that I just quoted from strictly prohibits them from taking property from you, right? Without due process. Rapid due process? What the heck does that even mean? Rapid due process. Now, it does say that you have to have, well, let me read it here. Do I see anything in here on how rapidly the due process has to be? No. I see that you can't be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against yourself. But let's get to that. Red flag laws. So they take all your guns. Now, when they take them, all of us will probably have a gun or know someone that has a gun that's collectible. It's a little older. It's an antique. And they'll either wear gloves when they handle it or they wipe all the fingerprints off when they're done. And that's your right to own things, to own nice things and to keep them nice. You think the cops are going to be handling your guns that way? Or are they literally going to open the trunks of their cars? Or if you have more guns that'll fit in their trunk, they're going to bring in a pickup truck, even a utility trailer. Do you think they're going to take the time to put them all on their proper cases, wear white cotton gloves, have one of those, silicone rod and reel cloths to wipe the fingerprints off? Do you think that's how they're going to store them? Many of you have a climate-controlled safe. Do you think they're going to take your guns back to a climate-controlled safe? No. Many times they're going to be held in either an indoor locker in an area that's off the jail that may not be climate-controlled. They're going to be a lot of times thrown in piles on the floor. We've all seen pictures of what these evidence rooms look like. In other cases, they could be in a pole barn, out behind your sheriff's department, out behind your police station. And that's where the guns sit. Until you're notified to come back, now you get to come back and say something for yourself, right? And by the way, if you don't say anything for yourself to convince the judge that you're innocent, yeah, this is that messed up, guys, then they're going to get to keep your guns and you're not going to get to be allowed to have them back. So tell me that doesn't sound like being compelled in a criminal case to be a witness against yourself. Even though the Fifth Amendment literally states, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. And here's the reason why. The reason why normally the way our justice system has always worked and normally works and is supposed to work is because you have the presumption of innocence. You are innocent, and it is the burden upon the state to have a burden level of beyond a reasonable doubt to convince a jury of your peers, by your peers in your local area where the crime was allegedly committed. Look, this is all enumerated, guys. They have to prove you're guilty because you can never prove a negative. It's almost impossible in almost every scenario to prove that you didn't do something, right? We all know that. Prove that you didn't do this last night. Well, unless you're literally walking around with a body cam on all the time with a bunch of witnesses, you still can't prove it. Even then you can't. Someone could say, well, you forged the videotape and those witnesses are all lying. You guys get my point. This is not the way our justice system is supposed to be set up, where you have to say something for yourself to prove your innocence. This is literally that insane. Take the guns first, then due process. Literally none of this makes sense at all on any level. What I think it does do, though, is it adds a way to have political divide, to turn neighbors against neighbors, friends against friends, to give the ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend a chance to finally settle the score. Most of these laws say that if it's anyone that you ever co-inhabited with, a lot of times they say that you ever had an intimate relationship with, intimate relations, Well, how many people out there have only had intimate relations with one person in their whole life? And if you have, great. So there's a lot of exes out there, aren't there? Now, are all of us best friends with our exes? Some people are, some people aren't. Some people are indifferent, whatever. But these are literally laws that give somebody the power to take somebody's property. Now, this isn't just any property, by the way. This is property, everything's property. They have no right to take, let me just pick something random here off my desk. They have no right to take this from me because I paid for it, and if I have a headache, I should be able to take this. This is my property. You have no right to take that from me. But you especially don't have a right to take my guns from me because these are not only possessions that I own and that you all own, that you can sell later. Maybe your kid needs money for college. Maybe somebody you know or love gets sick. These are pieces of property you can sell, buy, whatever. But they're also to protect your family, to protect your life and limb, to protect you against a tyrannical government, to protect you against a wild animal, to protect you against a no good person that's going to break into your house and rob and steal and murder for drug money. You guys know what I'm getting at. So these aren't just any type of property. These are the extra protected pieces of property. And again, don't take my word for it. It says right here in the Fifth Amendment, right, that nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. So all property is covered, right? But then it was even more important than that because up 3 amendments higher, we have the Second Amendment where it says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So this whole thing where guns should be easier to take away than other property, this is completely and utterly contradictory to the Bill of Rights because the Bill of Rights protects guns singularly more than any other type of property. They're not only protected just under the generic part of the Fifth Amendment, which does, again, give us the right to own property, and I'm not making light of it, but they're further protected by the Second Amendment. So why? Why would our founding fathers do that if they thought that guns should have a lesser protection? Couldn't have they very easily put on the last sentence of the Fifth Amendment, except for guns, because we don't really care if they take those. They could have put that in there if they wanted to. But the founding fathers understood this a lot more, and they appreciated liberty and life and the ability to protect your family, to protect against a tyrannical government, because they had just overcome a tyrannical government. See, here's the problem. People have such a short attention span. If it didn't happen yesterday, if it didn't happen, 2 months ago, people forget why this stuff even exists. Okay? And it's been 240 years. And I'm starting to wonder how many people have forgotten now why this country even exists, how this country even exists. No, let me just get this out right away. No, the Revolutionary War was not about tea tax, okay? It was about when they came in there and started to confiscate gunpowder, started to confiscate artillery, cannons, cannonballs, muskets, musket balls. That's what really kicked off the Revolutionary War. When Paul Revere said the British are coming, well, he would have said the Redcoats are coming, because at that point in time, even Paul Revere considered himself British, and he was legally British. The British are coming, the Redcoats are coming. What were they coming for? They were coming for our forefathers, the people that founded this great experiment on a governance of the people, by the people, this constitutional republic. Let's not forget that. We're not a democracy. We're a representative constitutional republic, period, end of story. It's written in the founding documents. What were the British coming for? What were the Redcoats coming for? They were coming for their guns. And the founding fathers didn't forget that. And they said, well, what if we wouldn't have had those guns? What would have happened? Well, sir, if we wouldn't have had those guns, obviously, we would have just had to lay down before the crown. And we would have just kept becoming a colony. We would have still been British subjects. Note, I didn't say citizens, I said subjects. The founding fathers didn't want to be subjects anymore. They wanted to be citizens. Again, a grand experiment in self-governance where the people would govern themselves and only delegate the minimum amount of authority necessary to the government to have them serve some very basic functions. So in that spirit, is that where we're at right now? When the Republican President Trump says, take the guns first, due process later. Is that what this is all about? Senator Lindsey Graham, rapid due process. I'm not after your guns. Oh, really? You're not after our guns? Then why are you doing something that literally tears down and weakens Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment? I would even argue 10th Amendment. You know why? Because the 10th Amendment, I'll paraphrase. No, I'll read it. It's right here. 10th Amendment. This is another powerful amendment, one that's often overlooked, and they're all my favorites. I can't pick a favorite, guys. That's the beauty of this eloquently written, document here. They're all basically equally important in my opinion, no doubt. But I really like the 10th Amendment because it simply says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Red flag laws, bribing the states, giving them money, threatening to cut off federal funds, right? If they don't enact red flag laws. That's what these national red flag laws are about. We are supposed to have 50 states. And I'm not going to get into it because it would take hours of what the federal government's role is, but it's my opinion, and I believe a proven fact by reading the Founding Fathers' writings. The Founding Fathers didn't want the federal government to be the big jackboot over the top of all the states and over all the people. In fact, there's very few powers that are enumerated, that are delegated, that are written in writing in the Constitution for the federal government. There are some. And on the basic level as written in the Constitution, some of them make sense. Some scholars would point out maybe some of them shouldn't have been in there because it's led to the slippery slope. But I'll tell you what, no matter how you read the Constitution as written, it definitely doesn't give the federal government power to take money from states and use it to enact gun control, period. End of story. And I think the most important part of the 10th Amendment is where it says to the states respectively or to the people. It doesn't say anywhere in the Constitution that the federal government has the right to just take lawfully owned property from people with no compensation, without being accused of a crime. No, it actually says the exact opposite. It's in the Bill of Rights. It's this simple. And these aren't the Bill of Suggestions. This isn't the Bill of antiquated, archaic language. No, this is the freaking Bill of Rights. And most Democrats, they want to tread on it, of course. We already know that. But now it seems like it's most of the Republicans, too. Who the heck's voting for these people? Somebody must be voting for them. Okay, I voted for Trump. I'll tell you guys right now. Guilty. Whatever you want to call it, I don't care. I was going to be damned if Hillary got in, okay? That's literally what it came down to. And I've said this repeatedly. I didn't necessarily want Trump as my first choice. I did vote for Ted Cruz in the primaries. That was my choice. Whatever. If Trump was your first choice, whatever. But here's the thing. Somebody put these people in office. And I have a feeling it was a lot of us, a lot of you all that did. So, I don't know. Look, I'm just trying to bring this to you guys' attention. I can't convince you guys of anything, but I know some of this is repetitive, but I want to repeat myself. I want us to keep remembering what's going on here. What exactly is going on here? And this isn't about reasonable control and this and that. I stand with reason, as in the Bill of Rights is a very reasonable document written by very smart people that are probably more reasonable than any of us here. Let's face it. I'm not George Washington, and I doubt any of you guys are either. But at the same time, these things can obviously be taken away. Look at all of the different national gun laws that have been enacted in the past. In the 1930s, National Firearms Act, 1968 Gun Control Act, 86 Hughes Amendment, 89 George Bush, Republican, assault weapons ban from importation. That's why we have 922R and all this bullcrap. Clinton's assault weapons ban with a sunset, which, by the way, after that sunset, after 10 years, you know what happened? Congress had a study. They talked to the CDC. Now, the CDC is not a pro-gun group. They talked to the ATF. They're not pro-gun either. And they said, you know what? It didn't solve anything. It did not reduce violent crime. It didn't even reduce gun crime. It didn't do anything. Okay, so they let it expire. All of these things have already been proven not to work. But you know what does work? Every time the government comes after our rights, comes after our liberty, takes it away, it seems we never, ever get it back. Terrible things happen. Terrible, terrible things happen. But would anyone in their sane mind that's reasonable want to reward these psychopaths, these killers, these demons? Because as so far as I can read, all, if not almost all of these people that do these horrific things, you know what their goal was? They wanted gun control. They wanted guns to be taken away from the people. And they consider themselves martyrs. As sick and twisted as these people are, that if they went out and did this action, 15, 20 people might die. But I'm doing this for the greater good. That if I have to kill 20 people, that they're going to take away these evil, terrible guns, which are inanimate objects, right? It's been written, guys. Read it. I don't want to glorify their names. I'm not going to talk about their names. I don't want you guys to mention their names. But there seems to be quite the agenda here lately, where people that are anti-gun, anti-freedom, anti-liberty are a lot of the people actually committing these acts. So what is our Congress proposing to do? It's proposing to reward them and give them what they wanted. They thought that if they could make enough of a stink, scare enough people, that they could start putting in restrictive laws that, again, don't just undermine the Second Amendment, which is probably the most important issue to me, but all these other issues that are important to me. Privacy, being secure in your property, in your house, and your effects, your papers, right? These people want to tear down the core fundamentals of what makes America great, what makes America different than everybody else. We've proven that socialism, communism, fascism doesn't work. We've sent hundreds of thousands of people over there to fight, and many of them died for many, many generations, the greatest generations we've ever had. People with 10 times more balls than any of us right now. They went to the First World War. They went to the Second World War. Fought dictators, fascists, Nazis, communists. A lot of people died for that. We got a bunch of gun owners right now that don't even have the balls to hold Lindsey Graham to the fire and to call him, blow up his Twitter, blah, blah, blah. But we've had brave men and women risk their lives and give their lives to fight against communism so that we could keep our rights that were given to us by God, protected in the Bill of Rights. And what do we have now? We have people with an agenda that still somehow, through their dense, demented, thick skulls, think communism is better than liberty. Think that communism is better than our republic. And they live here, and they're amongst us, and they think this is the way to go. And they're hell-bent to, again, ideologically and change at its core the fundamentals of the United States of America. And they're telling us that's what they're doing. They're standing on the streets. They're throwing things at police officers that in many cases aren't even doing anything wrong with them. And no, police aren't always innocent, guys. I'm not trying to turn it into that. But police that are minding their own business, getting stuff thrown on them, they're threatening the lives of Republicans. They're threatening the lives of conservatives. They're typing these sick, twisted manifestos. They're trying to turn all of us against each other. They're trying to say that everybody's racist. They want to take our guns. They want to take away our privacy. They want to take away our rights to get on here on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is that you do. They want to take away all your rights. And then they want to take guns and do horrific, terrible things with them because the guns never did anything bad. These terrible, demonic people did bad with an inanimate object. And they want to use that to strike fear into people and make it where you're so afraid that you're just willing to give it up, that you'll give up your liberty for a little bit of perceived security. Isn't that what Ben Franklin warned us about over 200 years ago? And I'm going to paraphrase and probably get it wrong, but he basically said those who are willing to give up liberty for a little perceived security deserve and will get neither. That's essentially what he said. And I agree with him. So why on earth these people that everybody on both sides of the aisle condemn, and they tell us exactly what they're doing in many cases, I'm going to go shoot these people to get guns taken away. So what are we going to do? We're going to reward them and give them what they want? I don't want to make martyrs out of these people. I want to not even mention their names so they neither become famous nor infamous, so they don't get 5 minutes of anything that they would enjoy. I want these people that if they're still alive to get swift punishment with following complete and utter due process. I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. When I mean swift, I mean they shouldn't get to sit in prison for 40 years awaiting death row. Okay, that's what I mean by that. But yes, they have the right to be indicted. They have the right to face their accuser. They have the right to be tried by a jury with other peers. Absolutely. I stand firm that these Bill of Rights applies to me, you, and our worst enemies, and the most terrible of us, the best of us, the most powerful of us, and the least of us. You know why? Because our justice system is supposed to answer to a blindfolded lady. Wears a blindfold with a sword in her hand holding a set of scales. How powerful is that? A blindfolded lady holding a sword and a set of scales, meaning it doesn't matter who you are. The least of us, the worst of us, the best of us, and the greatest of us deserve justice. So as much as I can't stand these people and condemn and hate what these people did, yeah, they deserve due process. But you know what? We know what they're going to do? They're literally trying to get laws passed right now that's going to reward these killers, these deranged vermin, scumballs, despicable people. They're going to give them exactly what they want. And you know who they're going to take it out on? People like me and people like you. Okay? I did a video about it right after these horrific events happened. And I cited over 100 million of you never hurt anybody the other day. Neither did I, and neither did you or you. We're not hurting people. We're not the bad guys. How stupid is it that right now this has become normal? That when person A does something bad, to try to do something against all of humanity, person B, right? That person A gets immortalized as a hero and person B gets punished. What the heck is wrong with this? What is wrong with this way of thinking? To me, the good guys should be considered to be the good guys, and the bad guys are the bad guys. It's just that simple. You kill a bunch of people, you're a bad guy, okay? You do it for socialist reasons, that you want to enact socialism and take away people's rights. Yeah, you're a really, really bad person. You've killed people. Now you're trying to undermine The document, well, you know what? I believe in the documents. You still have your right to due process. I don't care how many people you killed. You have due process. After that, I'd probably support the death penalty. Once it's been completely beyond a reasonable doubt that you're guilty by a jury of your peers, off with you. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel. I don't want to go wake up early tomorrow morning and work my butt off and have my tax dollars go to feed that person. That's it. You did something that bad, see ya. After due process. Okay. Sorry, guys, that was a pretty long rant. Basically, I could go on and on for hours about this, but I can't stay on terribly long tonight. So, come on, guys. We got to wake up. We got to realize what's going on here. Now, what can we do about it? I just did a video about this topic. We have some suggestions. Since then, I've thought of more suggestions. That's all I'm doing right now, guys. That's all I'm doing is I'm just sitting there thinking about what are we going to do? Well, again, go watch my last 4 videos. I'm giving you guys stuff to think about, suggestions. And here's something else I was thinking about. I was listening to Sean Hannity. I've been really listening to him, seeing what he was going to say. I think Sean Hannity's on our side, guys. He wasn't quite as vehement and adamant as me and as a lot of other people I've seen on YouTube against red flag laws. But I heard Sean Hannity on his radio show because I listened to his radio show via podcast while I'm mowing lawns. And he basically said, look, yeah, it'd be nice to stop people from doing all this, but here's the problem with red flag laws. I don't trust the government to execute something like this, and I don't think they're going to do a good job of it. And he basically said I could see, a bunch of problems and a slippery slope, right? So, Sean Hannity. Now, look, I'm doing the best I can. I have a relatively small audience. I mean, for who I am and what I'm doing, I think I have a big audience, and I'm really grateful for everyone that, watches my channel and stuff. So don't take that the wrong way, guys. I can't even believe I have half of the, people that subscribe to me and support me that I do. But let's just be honest. I'm a teeny little nobody in this world. I can't do anything. But you know what we can all do? All of us nobodies? We need to get a hold of people that have a little bit bigger microphone, and let's start hitting them up. Sean Hannity, perfect example. This guy reaches millions of people a day. He seems like he's on our side with this. He seems like he's against red flag laws, but I've not quite heard him go on a rant yet that he's vehemently against it. He's against it, I think, but he's still trying to think about it. Because remember, he's got all these Republicans calling him up that support it, all these politicians that are, again, very eloquently spoken, saying how good it is and it doesn't do anything bad, blah, blah, blah. And tweet Sean Hannity. If that's the best way to get a hold of him. Email him, tweet him. If he has social media, get on there and hit up Sean Hannity. I think that's a great one because he seems like he's actually might be on our side. So I'm going to give you guys all a homework assignment. No, I'm not your teacher. I can't make you guys do anything. But the goal here is to get us all to actually freaking do something for once, okay? I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I was being serious earlier when I said this. Just remember this, guys. A lot of brave souls have been lost and fought. A lot of injured people dealing with mental wounds, physical wounds, have fought to undermine communism, Gestapo, things like this, where neighbors are ratting out neighbors to take away human rights. It's the very least we can do to tweet, call, IG, YouTube, email, petitions. Look. If you spend 2-3 hours a day for the next 3 weeks, literally typing, calling, tweeting, twittering, everything, it's still nothing, guys. It's still nothing compared to what people have done to keep this country going this long. And when I say nothing, I'm including myself. That's nothing. If we can't even do that, we don't even deserve to have these rights. And I truly mean that. So come on, guys. We got to get going here. Tweet Sean Hannity. Blow him up. Sean Hannity I'm going to give you guys a hypothetical here. I bet you if Sean Hannity got 100 tweets in a row or within close proximity, boom, 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 no red flag laws, no, 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 no. Not like kind of, sort of, but just real blunt and to the point. If that 100 tweets gets him to actually get on air and go on a rant about it, now 4 million people heard that. 100 of us nobodies. Getting Sean Hannity, just getting him over the edge. Now, we're not making him do anything. We're just giving him that little nudge like, yeah, Sean, your instincts are right, okay? There is a lot of people, the forgotten Americans, the silent majority that doesn't believe in this. And he tweets it, and he gets out, and he retweets it. Millions. He talks about it on his radio show. Million. He talks about it on TV. Millions. You guys get my point, right? Same thing. President Trump. He's got tons of people tweeting him that they want him to take all guns, confiscate them all. Get in there and tweet him. Keep tweeting him. I don't know if there's any spam policy. Again, I'm not advocating for anyone to. We don't want to look like a bunch of a-holes. I mean, we can be stern. We can look like a-holes in a certain regard. But if it's like, I don't do Twitter, guys. But if it's like customary to tweet somebody once a day, do that. If it's fine to tweet the president 100 times, tweet him 100 times. Okay? Get on your YouTube. Do videos. Call out people. Here's another one I want you guys to start tweeting and sending messages to. Steven Crowder. Crowder's talking about red flag laws. It seems like he's against it. But I think Crowder could do a little more. Crowder had Dan Crenshaw, the person that's famous TAPS Act bill, that's kind of along the lines of red flag, even though it's different, but just as intrusive, just in other ways than red flag. And he called Dan Crenshaw out on a few things and asked Dan Crenshaw some tough questions. Crenshaw kind of doubled back a little bit, and this was on Crowder's last live stream, if you guys saw it. He kind of like almost went back a little bit and said, I might support red flag, is what he said, but he never denounced red flag. Crenshaw didn't. I think Crowder did a pretty good job, but I think Crowder could step up a little more. And I think that he's in our corner, guys. But what would it take? Maybe if Crowder got another 100 tweets, just by normal people, just like me and you, all of us nobodies out there. If 100 of us nobodies get together and email, write, whatever, we think's best to Steven Crowder, we get him to say something. Dude's got like how many millions of subs? 3-4 million subs. I think we can do, and look at guys, there's other things we can do later, but I'm going to look at it from this right now. Here's the thing. We've got about 3 weeks until Congress is done with their vacation. They're back in their home districts right now. They're traveling. They're supposed to be talking to their local constituents. But in the meantime, this is when we have to go at it hardcore. Because in the meantime, their staff members and aides are still working. They're still compiling all this. They're still getting a feel of what the temperature of the country is on this issue. And it's not looking good. Mitch McConnell's already said that the second he gets back in September, that front and foremost is red flag laws and background checks. Which, by the way, I keep on saying red flag laws, guys. Include everything I just said. Include background checks in there. Because this is a bunch of BS, too. They're implying everywhere, we need to have background checks. Like we don't have a freaking background check. I mean, these people are literally either so willfully ignorant, which is probably not the case, or just out and out deceptive to try to get universal background checks, which basically stops two law-abiding citizens from exchanging lawfully owned property with each other, okay? Then that's a pretty big infringement, guys. Not only on the Second Amendment, but again, just the rights to own property and transfer property lawfully. So these universal background checks, terrible idea. But we need to call them out. Next time you see a politician, get on there and say, we need a background check. Just hit them right up on Twitter or whatever it takes, or Instagram or YouTube, and say, we already have background checks, you idiot. Because here's what they do. They go out and they do these surveys of people and they say, hey, do you think we should have background checks to buy guns? And then they come back and say 90% of the people support background checks. Yeah, but you idiot, you liar. These people are liars. I'm tired of beating around the bush. The lying SOB that's doing the stupid survey, he never told the people, hey, we already have a background check. And if you buy a gun, in 99% of the instances, you have to fill out paperwork under penalty of perjury, signed and sworn. Call the FBI, NICS, blah, blah. They don't tell the people that. They're relying on the ignorance. And trust me, most people in this country are pretty darn freaking ignorant. It's obvious. They rely on ignorant people that don't know how things really work. And they give this presupposition that we don't even have a freaking background check. And people fall for it. And they say, yeah, I want background checks. Come on, Mitch. And then Mitch is getting this that, oh, yeah, Mitch, gun owners support background checks. NRA supports background. No, we don't support background checks. Not the way they mean them. We already have background checks. What we don't support is we don't support a registry, which the only reason you want a registry is to lead to confiscation. And the only way that a universal background check, quote unquote, can work is if there's a registry. They put us in this complete conundrum where it's like, well, if you won't take this reasonable approach, then whatever. And then this quote-unquote reasonable approach, the second that passes, they're not going to stop. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. These people are never, ever, ever, ever going to stop. And any of you out there that think they're going to stop and think that if you just give them a little teeny inch, that they're not going to take them out, you're a freaking idiot. Come on, correct yourself. Think about it. Everyone's smart enough to tweet and Twitter and play these stupid-ass candy games, breaking pieces of candy up, but they're not smart enough to go read a document that has 10 lines in it? Come on. Get with it. Remind your friends. Look, I'm preaching to the choir right now. You guys are some of the best people out there. My viewers, I've said before, are some of the smartest, some of the patriots. I'm honored and blessed to even be getting to hang out with you guys. But there's got to be some real idiots out there somewhere. It's our job to inform them, to talk to them, okay? People want to sit there and say, well, I think that if it could just, stop one killing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, see how that works. Go look at communist China. Took all the guns, registered all the guns, took them all. Ask General Mao how peaceful he ran the country after that. Stalin, Lenin, Hitler, Mussolini. Look it up. This stuff's already happened before. It's not like we have to guess what happens when they confiscate guns, tear down the Bill of Rights, fundamentally change this country over to a communist system. We don't have to freaking guess. Wars have been fought. Hundreds of millions of lives have been lost over this crap, this communism thing. It's a bunch of crap, and it's proven. But whatever. So anyways, like I was saying earlier, guys, I think there's a way. We're in a really unique situation right now. Look, at social media is kind of our demise because it's gotten it to the point where everyone's heads are buried in the stupid screen so much. We don't even know how to talk to each other anymore. Not many people can even make eye contact when they walk around the street. People walk around the street doing this and, and they're bumping in. You guys have seen it before. But the good thing about this, and the good thing about us being, quote, connected and wired in, if you want to call it that, is we can talk to each other. You know what I could do? I could run around my neighborhood tonight and probably find 3 or 4 guys that would want to sit here and have a powwow. Instead, I'm talking with 25 people. So here's the thing. With all the bad that this technology's done in this world, I don't think it's all good. Let's take advantage of it. Let's work the system a little bit here. It's all right in front of us. Hit up Hannity. If we can get him just to get a little more adamant, he'll reach millions of people. Tucker Carlson. Tell these guys, hey, you're being a little lukewarm on this. Or if they're doing a good job, tell them we have your back. That's important too. We don't just need to condemn people. If there's somebody out there, if you're congressman, and I hope someone can tell me a story of their congressman that's actually on the right side of this. If they're on the right side of it, call them up. Say, amen, brother. This is why we elected you and why we're proud to have you serving in the 3rd District of Missouri, wherever this is, okay? We're proud to have you here. You're an American patriot, and you stand by your word, and I will always have your back. It's okay to tell them that if they're doing a good job. I don't know anybody right now that's actually on the good side of this, but if they are, praise them. But if they're not, say, look, we got you here. You're trying to appease the other side of the aisle? These people hate you. They'll never be your friend. Why the heck do you want to turn your back on the people that got you here? And let alone us, but the whole Bill of Rights and the Constitution? I think this stuff actually needs to be said. I'm not going to advocate like Obama did, where Obama said, get in their face, blah, blah, blah. I don't advocate violence. That's what the left's doing right now, and I don't advocate for that. But it's okay to give people a stern warning and say, look, we got you here. You answer to us. Treat them like a misbehaving child. Your child messes up, doesn't do what they're told. It's time for mom and dad to lay down the law. And I hate to say this, but we need to look at a lot of these politicians and these jackboots and these people that are just sucking off of our tax dollar. We need to treat them like they're children, because that's really what they are. If these people had a reasonable mind of their own, we wouldn't have Mitch McConnell talking about, how he supports red flag laws and the president sitting there saying, take the guns first, due process later. I wish I didn't have to keep after my politicians all the time. But you know what? It seems apparent that's what we have to do. And then they'll never watch my show. Again, that's why I'm trying to think. The new strategy here is this. All of us just keep hitting them up. Social media, letters, call. I was on the phone again today. Representative Wahlberg's Michigan's 12th district, talking to him. Senator Stabenow, Senator Peters. Sometimes your senators will have 3 or 4 different offices. Call all 3 offices. Same message, different message, whatever you want to tell them. No red flag laws. No universal background checks. I'm pro Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed. Those are all fine things to say, guys. And you know what's messed up? I'll tell you guys a quick story. I'm waiting right now to see what happens, but I called my representative and I said, hey, I'd like to record this conversation so that I can make it part of a YouTube video, just simply for one reason. Just so I can show, people that watch my videos how easy and painless it is to call your United States congressman. Well, sir, I can't give you permission to do that. Okay. I said, oh, by the way, and this is all true. It wouldn't matter if I was for or against my representative. This is all the same. This doesn't matter. But in this case, I actually supported my congressional rep. And as of now, he's always been very pro-gun. But I'm not going to take it for granted. That's why I'm calling his office repeatedly, okay? Emailing, calling again, saying, hey, I called yesterday. Just wanted to remind you, I feel still the same way. Call him the next day. Yep, I've called the last 2 days, but I feel more adamant than ever about making sure that I'm opposing red flag. I mean, that's what I've been doing. Very, very politely, though. But look, I'm a supporter of this guy. Voted for him. Huge campaign sign in my front yard, okay? And they said, well, we don't know if you can do that. So I'm going to wait and see. I'm trying, actually, because I'm trying to practice what I preach. I'm trying to, people that aren't real politically active. Look, you guys don't have to get on here and rant and whatever like I am. That's not what you need to do. You guys need to think for yourselves, though, and you guys need to realize what's going on, and you need to do what you have to do. I'm going to let you guys use your own common sense. The only thing I'm not going to let you guys do is sit on the couch and be lazy pieces of crap and then come back and complain afterwards. You're either with the Second Amendment or you're not. There's no such thing as being lukewarm here. You have to reach out. You have to call. Don't just call one person. Call everybody. I've just given you guys some ideas. President Trump. Call President Trump, Mike Pence, your congressmen, your senators, your state representatives. If they're trying to do something on the county level, call your county commissioners. Sean Hannity, call Ben Shapiro, call Tucker Carlson. I'm saying, Crowder. When I say call, you guys know what I mean. In today's day and age, call could mean, on the phone. It could mean tweeting, doing to them on Instagram, whatever it takes. Get a hold of these people. And, like I said, I like to talk about guns. That's fine. We'll talk about guns. But I'm not talking about guns right now. You know why? Because I could sit and talk about guns all day, and I could have fun showing you guys 5 or 6 really cool guns tonight, and then red flag laws pass, and somebody that wants me off of here because they don't want my message. They want to silence my free speech, my Second Amendment rights, my 5th, 6th, and 10th Amendment rights. They want to silence all of them. One phone call, and they could come in here and take every gun I've worked my whole life for. So, no, I'm not going to have 5 minutes of fun in the sun right now and talk about guns when we're in dire straits right now. Let me say this again. Senate Majority Leader McConnell says the first thing on his list is to talk about red flag laws, universal background checks. If I didn't mention it yet tonight, Senator McConnell, call him, write him. If you live in Kentucky especially, but with him being the majority leader, all of us are considered to have standing with him. Every one of us can call him across the whole country. A lot of times if you call like a United States representative, they'll say, well, if you don't live in this specific district, we won't take your comments. Some will say that, some won't. But McConnell's office should take calls from everybody in this whole country because he's the Senate majority leader, right? So you guys probably have better ideas than I do, and that's probably what you guys have been saying. I've just got a lot on my mind, and I can't stay on for 2 hours tonight, so I haven't really been reading the comments. So, again, I'm sure you guys have some great ideas. I'm going to go through and read all these comments later because not only am I trying to motivate you guys, but I appreciate how much you guys have been motivating me and all of you guys' has good ideas too. So let me just go through here real quick and say hi to whoever's in the in the chat and just see what's going on real quick before I sign off. So Ninja Scout was in here first. What's up, man? Wild Bill, nice to see you. We have Burn Till They Learn. What's happening? Rural Route 72. What's going on? Texas Outlaw Michael Science. Shout out to the Texas Outlaw, guys. We've talked about him before, and I think it was just the last stream where I told you guys to pray for the man, that he's got some problems in his life, but don't we all? And good to see you here, Michael. Shout out to Michael Science. I hope you're doing good, man. Probably not a better person on all of YouTube than this guy, by the way. Burn Till They Learn. We got him. Vanessa Kitty, what's happening? We got Tree Guy. How's it going? Fierce Mouse, what's up? Road Scholar, good to see you as always, man. Cave Dave, how's it going, Dave? Let's see here. I know I saw some other people in here. Pike Opossum, what's happening? Dangerous freedom is greater than safe slavery. Thanks, Opossum. That's a good one, man. Student Email, how's it going? Seems like we're getting betrayed by a lot of people right now. Fee Low. Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff cops are doing. There's a lot of bad stuff people are doing to the cops, too. A lot of bad stuff all over the place, isn't there? Freddie F., what's happening? Freddie F. says, something to keep in mind. The government, regardless of party, the goal is control, and as history has proven, disarm the people, free the government to do as they will to suppress the people. Thank you, Freddie. I think I had a real long-winded way of saying that, but I think he said it better than me right there. That's true. It's not just about parties anymore. That's why I'm saying get a hold of all of them, especially the Republicans right now. Poor conservative, what's happening, man? What's the world coming to? I'm clean shaven. Yeah, it's gotten pretty hot out. Cut my hair, too. Let's see who else is here. Sorry, guys. You guys that come here regularly know I normally read the comments, and I'm going to read them later. I'm just kind of really on a tight schedule tonight because I have to get up so freaking early in the morning. So let's see who else is here. I want to at least say hi to everybody. Primus Autismus 2000. It's merely an excuse to disarm the populace. Welcome, man. And I agree with you. That's exactly what's going on here. Joey King, what's happening, man? Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, but good to see you back in the mix, man. Let's see here. Wild Bill. Brastard, what's happening, Brastard? Thank you, Brastard, for making that on video, by the way. He put out a video dedicated to me, guys, and I appreciate that. But no, for real, that is a cool looking pond, man. I really do like it, and kind of reminds me of what I have. We have a polymer stock tank, but we have the lily pads going, just a couple koi and a couple goldfish, and I've seen those too. One of the people in the comments said something about, you know, those little sores they get. I would check out the fish antibiotics. Matt Morrison's here. What's happening, man? Yeah, anyways, thanks, Brastard, for doing the pond video. I do like it. And if you guys want to see a nice little container pond, look up Brastard762 here in the chat, and you can put out a nice little video. You know, give you some ideas if you're looking to have a little oasis in the middle of the desert in his case. Let's see here. Who did I miss? If I missed somebody, say hi to me. Roman Nieves. How's it going, man? Yep, he said, you're right. These demonic people hope they burn in hell. Amen, man. Poor conservative says, trim that hanging string. This one here? That just adds character, doesn't it? I don't want you guys to think I'm too clean cut or anything. If I'm all like, you know, perfectly, you guys might think I'm a politician or something. And then if I hit even this much crud, I'd lose all of it. So I see what you're saying, but I don't want to really look the part too much there. Poor conservative. Road Scholar says it's his front sight. Browser says it's bait like those angler fishermen. Jeez, oh Pete. What am I going to do with you guys? Let's see here. Tom Ali, how's it going? Tyven Show, what's happening, Tyven? Stephen Kennedy, what's happening? Road Scholar has it right here. He said, I'm going to start contacting and getting the word out. I'm motivated. Get motivated, guys. Come on now. Let's do it. Michael Science, supposedly Tucker Carlson has Crenshaw on and grilled him. Good deal. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. But tweet Tucker and say, good job grilling Crenshaw, you know? Yeah, Matt Morrison's right. The anti-gunners are knowledgeable about their talking points. Problem is they've got some pretty darn good talking points. If you're completely ignorant and don't know what they're talking about, a lot of it's sounding pretty good to a lot of people. Marshall 9913, how's it going, man? Thanks for being with me. And I know what you're saying. You're not with me. We're with the Second Amendment is who we're with. The Second Amendment, 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th, all the amendments. But these are the main ones that they're trying to infringe on right now. And here's the thing. Once they infringe on these successfully, it's not going to be much longer until, the 2nd, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th. You guys know how this works, right? So you break a couple walls down on a structure. The rest of it's pretty easy to knock over. So I don't think we want to be living in a house of cards, do we? That's what I'm kind of afraid of. You start pinging off all these individual parts of the Constitution, and very quickly we can find ourselves, like I said, living under a house of cards. So, yeah. Let's see here. Scrolling down the comments here. Okay, like Brastard said, Mitch also said an assault weapons ban's up in September. Holy crap, guys. Look, here's another suggestion. These are just suggestions. When you're calling or tweeting or emailing, this is something you can do if you don't want to talk too long. Say, look, I'm not for any gun control whatsoever. Period. That encompasses things like assault weapons ban, magazine bans, guns, evil features, whatever, right? But then also make sure you add on that you're not for a universal background check and red flag laws. You know why? They're trying to parlay these now as not even being gun control. A lot of these, literally, I've watched these elected officials lately get on TV and say, well, I'm not for gun control, but I'm for a red flag and for reasonable background checks. So it's not enough. If you guys haven't listened to anything else, listen to this, because this is a real sneaky differentiation they're making here. Don't just call your people up and say, I'm against all gun control. That only makes sense to logical, smart people like us. They don't consider red flag laws and background checks to be gun control. So I think you kind of have to say, I'm against all gun control, period. That, like I said, encompasses the assault weapons bans, the mag restrictions, etc. Then say, and I also vehemently, adamantly, strongly, whatever word you want to use, oppose red flag laws, TAPS Act, things like that, universal background checks. Because I've heard Mitch McConnell, I've heard Lindsey Graham, President Trump, they all still claim that we will not pass any gun control at all. But we're just going to pass A, B, C, D, E, F, G that are restrictions on gun control, like probably even worse than an assault weapons ban. But since they don't call it that, they can still say that they're pro-gun. Yeah, but that's what I was talking about earlier, Brastard. When I said 90% support universal background checks, yeah. And that's somebody being, I don't know if you heard what I said earlier, but that's somebody being untruthful. And when they're asking the people the questions, they imply we don't have any form of background check. And then they say, we don't have background checks. Would you support having one? And then 90% of the people say, yes, we do. They don't explain exactly what a universal background check is, in other words. I know tons of people out there that are pro-gun, and they're like, well, we already have a, universal background check. No, we don't. That's not what that means. It's different. Cole says, hey, do you have the Chinese type side folder on today? I don't have it on with me today. I did hear you your request last time, man. Trust me, I didn't forget about you, and I will definitely show that to you. Tonight I just wanted to talk about the gun rights, because in a few weeks we could have the Second Amendment eroded so far that it might not even be where me and a lot of people even want to have gun channels anymore. If it literally gets to the point where any bozo out there can just flag you and swat you and all this crap. You guys know what I'm saying. So I got to talk about this tonight, but I appreciate your support of the channel, Cole. I really do. And trust me, dude, I'm not blowing you off. I just want to talk about this tonight because we all got to do something. And if I can just motivate a couple of you guys somehow, look, I'm not anything special. I need you guys. We all need you guys. We all need each other. It's not that I need you guys. All of us need each other equally. We don't have many people right now that have our backs. And I think there's something to that. What do you guys think real quick here before I get off? Is there something to, like, if 100 of us get together and tweet Sean Hannity, okay, I'm just saying, and he gets on and really raises a ruckus to expose us in front of 4 million people, is that an effective way for us to do this? It's the best I can think of right now. Just hit up all the people that are directly responsible for voting, and then try to get a hold of some people that we think are on our side, they're just not quite being vocal enough, right? Michigan, Bastard, yeah, we're under threat too. You know, we have a really liberal governor that's totally anti-gun. Don't know how it happened, but it did. Flint water crisis, actually, that's how it happened. For those of you familiar with Michigan, Flint water crisis happened under a Republican administration. Therefore, it was like this huge, shift. So there you go. They blame the Republicans for all the water problems in Flint. That, by the way, the city of Flint has been run by Democrats, but this never makes any sense. And it's always the good guys that get blamed no matter what. But I digress. We don't have anything like huge right now on the table, but yeah, they're working on it. So I'm calling my state representative, senator. You guys should all be doing the same thing too. So okay, Michael Science is asking, would I be willing or able to possibly coordinate a YouTube collaboration where any or all of your supporters are invited together and maybe do a live stream with a bunch of us? In theory, yes. So like, yes, in spirit, 100%. How to physically do it, I have to figure that out because I just heard that they got rid of Google Hangouts. I don't use any software. I'm just using the web-based live streaming from YouTube. So I tried to use Hangouts the other day. I couldn't get it to work. And then I started researching, and a bunch of people are saying Google got rid of Hangouts. So with that being the way that I used to know how to get like 5-10 people in on a live stream, or 9 or whatever was the limit, maybe it was 8, but it was a lot. I know I've been on with a few people before. I think they got rid of that. So yes, in spirit, I want to. Physically, how to do it, I have to figure that out. So someone's suggesting Zoom, I think, right? M4 Johnny, how's it going, man? Pro Conservative says anything's worth a try. Well, we have to try to do something. StreamYard I'm looking into. I've tried OBS in the past, and I thought it was too cumbersome. So I'm gonna look at StreamYard a little more because I've heard about that. And I was actually just looking at them last night, some of their videos, and that looks doable. So, but yes, Michael Science, I just need to figure out a couple logistics things. And plus, I work so freaking much. It's like, man, I'm always working, and it's hard enough for me to learn how to do things the old-fashioned way, and then they eliminate something and do something new, and it kind of sets me back a little bit. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. In conclusion tonight, here's what's going on. We have to do something. I'm just giving you some ideas. You guys, like I said, have had a lot of ideas too. Hey, take whoever's ideas you think will work for you. Let's try it. Let's do something. Let's all try to get a hold of some of these people. Use the social media. We know the other side's doing it. It always seems to be effective for them. I don't want us to always be the stupid ones. Let's do some things that are effective here. Let's call them out. Get a hold of some people that are more famous than us. Get the word out there, okay? If you guys think my video is helpful, if you've got a friend, if you've got a family member that needs someone to preach to them and to go on a rant to them, send them my link, pull my video up if you think it'll help. If you don't think it'll help, please don't. The last thing I'm doing these videos for is to hurt the cause. I have no idea whether I'm doing a good job or not, guys. I'm just trying my hardest, and everything I'm saying here, I mean, I'm genuine. So if you think any of my videos on this topic would help anybody, share it to them, send it to them, And if you guys think I'm totally stupid, sorry. I am what I am. I'm like I said, I just feel I have to do something. And I do have more gun videos coming out soon, guys. This week, I'm going to talk about guns some. Don't get me wrong. But the last 4 or 5 days, all I've wanted to talk about is gun rights. And if you go back, if you guys have been a subscriber of me for a while, I try to calm down, and I'll do guns for weeks and weeks at a time. But when it comes down to where its push comes to shove, and they're 3 weeks away from the Republican Senate Majority Leader wanting to enact red flag laws, etc., I'm sorry, guys, but this is more important than guns right now. The guns are such a small thing. And let me leave you guys with this. If any of you, or if anybody you are friends with, think that this is actually about gun control, it's actually not. It's about control, human control, people control. Completely tearing down the liberties that we have confirmed in the Bill of Rights. The guns just happen to be the thing that we used 240-something years ago to resist tyranny and to stand up. And the guns are the only thing right now that the government fears would prevent them from trampling our rights and from becoming oppressive. It's like that old saying goes, when When the people fear the government, there's tyranny. When the government fears the people, there's liberty. And you know what? I'm not going to run in front of a loaded gun, and neither are they. And that's what this is all about. And I've gotten 2 new guns in this week, and I'm definitely going to do videos on them. A couple of my Patreon supporters have requested guns. Look, you guys are awesome. But I care more about this right now than I do anything else. So, sorry there's no guns in the stream tonight. If you look at the thumbnail for the intro, I got an antique Mosin here I'm going to do a video on this week. A fancy Chinese AK that one of my Patreon supporters really wants to see. I'd love to do a video on that too, and that should be coming out soon. But right now, I don't care about all that crap. Come on, get on your social media. Blow up their Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Call. The other side's doing it. I hate to say it, but the other side's either a lot more motivated or a lot smarter than us. Get in there. Do something about this, guys. Pass it on. Richard Hughes, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Tony Anthony, thanks, man. Nice to see you, too. If I missed anybody, it wasn't intentional. Join gun rights groups, but you know what? Yeah, do that, too, and that's awesome. And I'm also a member of gun rights groups. We don't have time for that. If that's your only plan, I'm sorry, you're not up for the task. We have 3 weeks from now. Mitch McConnell, unless we can change his mind, have his fellow, congressmen, his senators, unless we can change their mind, unless we can get Tucker Carlson to talk about it more, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, Sean Hannity, Dan Bongino, that's another one. Blow up Dan Bongino. He gets on the Sean Hannity show all the time. He's really famous, but probably not as famous as Hannity. Tweet Dan Bongino 150 times, guys. Get through to him. He may spout off a little bit about this when he's a guest on the Sean Hannity show, and then 1 million people can hear it. That's kind of sort of where I think we need to be heading with this right now. So, no problem, Richard. You might want to go back and watch it. It's kind of been a rant almost the whole time, but good to have you here. And I am getting ready to sign off, guys. I keep saying that. If you can't tell, I should have been in bed an hour ago. I have to get up early, but I do enjoy this. I don't enjoy the topic tonight. I don't at all, but I do enjoy talking to you guys and reading your comments, So, good. Bongino went off on it. Good. Tweet him, support him. Again, I've been out working all day today and all day yesterday. In fact, real quick, guys, some of you guys have left some great comments on that last video. I read them when I was out, in between lawns. I'll be responding to you guys. You guys that have been following me, why I usually respond to every comment. And if I don't, it's because YouTube shadow bans your comment. That's a whole other thing. If you guys ever leave me a comment and are like, why didn't he answer me? Once in a while, YouTube will literally make it where your comment doesn't show up. So, hey, Crooked Creek Shooting. How's it going, man? He's the one that just left a comment in my last video. But yeah, if you guys have channels, if you guys need help, if you guys need ideas for videos, if me linking to your video helps get it out there, that's what I'm all about, okay? If my videos help any of you guys, spread them around. I'm not asking for shout-outs, nothing like that. This has nothing to do with me trying to grow my channel, okay? I like it if my channel grows, but this is not it. Just if I can help you guys, let me know. You guys are ultimately the ones that are going to have each other's back. So hang in there, guys. There's going to be more gun rights videos to come, and there's going to be videos actually talking about guns. So, all right, guys, it was fun hanging out tonight. There's a little sneak peek of what's coming up soon here. So, Michael Science got some videos to do. I'm sure you guys are already subbed to him. Make sure, check it out. Richard Hughes, I'm sure he's going to have something to say. All you guys, Poor Conservative. So many good channels here. Ninja Scout, Brastard, 762. Now I'm going to miss somebody and feel bad. But you guys are good guys. I appreciate all your suggestions. I'll go back through and read the chat later. But I've got to sign off. I've got to get some tools ready for tomorrow. Get some ice made up for my cooler in the morning. Just stupid, boring crap like that. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks, Cave Dave. Thanks for always hanging out, man. You've been out here from the very beginning, and I always appreciate you, man. Dollywoods. When I say the beginning, I mean my first live stream. Go back and look at it, guys. It was pretty rough, but there's a few of these guys in here. Brastard 762. Anyways, I like you guys, so let's get involved. Email me. Let me know what you guys are doing. Leave comments. Come on, guys. Let's do this. Let's not curl up in a ball. If we fail, we'll come up with a plan B later. But like I said before, an ounce of prevention can be equal to a pound of cure. This is a lot better for us right now to try to do it this way than other methods that may be necessary and most of us hope never will be. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.